Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and today we're going to break down 5 things that people think about credits that are actually wrong. Now, I want to start this video off by saying 2 things here, okay? I am not trying to give you a loan, and I am not a credit card company, meaning I have nothing to gain by giving you guys wrong information, because although you might think like, hey, the guy giving me a loan wants all the best for me. In reality, all that person really wants to is to qualify you for something that's basically going to cost you a ton of money. So in this video, my entire job is to tell you the truth and only the truth, and that way you know exactly how credit actually works, and you don't have to worry about like, hey, but I thought it was this way because that guy told me it was that way and I trusted him. Well, in reality, don't trust the guy that's selling you something to actually tell you all the details about how to actually buy it and what is actually best for you. Now, if you guys are new to my channel, guys, I post on the channel every single day, so make sure to also subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when I post a new video. And on top of that, also destroy the like button to help this video out. I appreciate it a ton. It helps a lot with the entire YouTube algorithm. Now, the first thing is this, guys, okay? The first misconception people actually have about building credit is basically you need to go out there and buy something massive, very expensive, and pay it off over time, 6 months to 1 year, to then actually build up your entire credit score. Now, the truth is that in some way, this actually does increase your credit score by actually helping you build a payment history. But the truth is also that when you go, for example, to a store and they say, hey, you can actually buy this furniture with your credit card and pay it over time, and that way it'll also help your credit score. The idea is that, yeah, that is true, but in reality, it gets you to actually buy what they actually are selling, and on top of that, it actually gets you to pay interest on that entire credit card, so it actually benefits the bank also. So in reality, it benefits everyone else except you. So although it might actually work, it's not the best way to actually build up an entire credit card payment history, because basically the perfect way to do it is basically you grab your credit card and you basically use it for all your recurring bills every single month. For example, your electricity bill, your Apple Pay, your Netflix, your Amazon Music, whatever you have, okay? But the point is, put it on your credit card, those small bills, and pay it off in full every single month. And that way, you get the same effect. You get the payment history actually building up, but on top of that, you never actually pay any interest because you're actually paying it off in full every single month. So the idea is that you don't need to buy something massive and basically pay it off over time, because in reality, it only benefits the store owner and also the credit card company by charging you interest. So the best way to do it is just to grab a credit card, put some bills on it, and pay it in full every single month automatically. And that way you get the effect, but without actually costing you a ton of money. So always keep that in mind. And by the way, the only time you want to use a credit card to buy something very expensive is if, for example, the credit card has a promotion that gives you 12 to 24 months without any interest. Then you can actually use it and pay it up before that time, and that way you're done interest-free and over time and build up your credit score, but it won't cost you any money. Any other time, just save up for the money and buy that thing in cash, usually because you don't want to carry that balance, because in some way it's actually going to hurt your credit score because you're actually carrying a balance also. That's number one. And now number two is, if you check your credit score too often, which right now my credit score is around 758. Now the idea is if you check it too often, well, guess what's going to happen? It's actually going to lower your credit score. But in reality, that is also wrong. It's the wrong idea in every single way. If I wanted to, I could check my credit score every single day on Credit Karma or with my annual report, and it will not hurt my credit score by law. You can check your credit score as much as you actually want. So do not believe that, okay? Now, what I use is basically Credit Karma to check my credit score at least once a month or like once a week every now and then, but that's what I basically do. If you want to, you can use Equifax, whatever you want to use out there, but Credit Karma is also free. Now, I think the entire idea that actually hurts your credit score comes from the idea that, hey, if you want to get your annual report, you can actually get it once a year, right? But if you want to get it even more often, you'll have to pay for it, okay? Now, that is true because basically, if you want to pull every single detail about your annual credit report every so often, it is going to actually cost you money, but it will not actually hurt your credit score. So if you want more details, use the annual report for your credit reports. But if you just want to get like a very easy view of it for free every single month, just use Credit Karma, and that's what I actually use. And by the way, okay, it is very hard to improve something when you don't know exactly where you are? It's kind of like running a race without knowing exactly where the finish line is. The answer is you need to check your credit score to know exactly how you're doing and what factors are going to affect your credit score and how to actually improve it, okay? If you're not tracking it, it's going to be super hard. So again, do not believe the hype that if you check your credit score a ton of times, it's going to hurt your credit score, because again, that is a massive lie, okay? It makes no sense. It's not true. And by law, it cannot be done, okay? By law, you can check your credit score as many times as you want, and it cannot have an effect on your credit score whatsoever. Now, number 3 is basically freezing your entire credit score is going to hurt your credit score. Now, if you don't know what freezing your credit score basically means, it means that you're basically pausing everything that has to do with your entire credit score, meaning that a lender cannot pull your credit report to actually give you or extend you a line of credit. Meaning, if your credit report is actually frozen, you can't actually go out there and apply for a new credit card. Now, tell me, why would this actually be a good thing? Well, I'm gonna get there in a few. But in actuality, freezing your credit score might actually be a good idea when you have something important that is actually coming along. For example, guys, okay, say for example, you actually want to apply for a mortgage, and the entirety is you've been working hard for the past year or 2 years to get all your documents in order. However, when you actually go out there to actually qualify for a mortgage and they pull your entire credit report, it shows that basically you had a new loan on your credit report in Florida. However, the catch is this: you actually live in California and have never been to Florida in your entire life. The idea is that by freezing your credit report, you can actually prevent fraud, because basically, if someone steals your information, your social and all that stuff, because let's be honest, okay guys, most of your information and my information is already out there in the dark web. So in actuality, fraud is a very big possibility. So by freezing your credit report when you actually have something important coming along, so the idea is if that person, that scammer, tries to basically pull your credit report to actually get themselves a loan, the idea is they will not be able to, because your entire credit report is actually frozen. Now, tell me, how do I go out there and freeze my credit report? The answer is you have to contact all 3 bureaus and ask them to freeze it for you, and also confirm your identity, okay? And that is the idea. Now, the way I would do it is basically, if I have a mortgage or something important that I'm actually going to buy, I would freeze it, and that way I don't have any hiccups actually coming along in case a scammer does actually get a hold of my entire private information. That is the idea. And by the way, in reality, if anything like this ever happens, in reality, you will be protected, okay? That's not the problem. But the problem is that basically, if you have something important that has a time limit on it, for example, a mortgage or buying a car, whatever it is, you don't want to go through the hassle of going back and forth to actually prove that, hey, that was not me. I've never been to Florida, okay? So the best idea is just freeze your credit report. And by the way, it will not hurt your entire credit score either. So also keep that in mind. Now, number 4 is basically closing a credit card will actually help your entire credit score. In reality, that is also a lie. And by the way, I have around 6 to 8 credit cards right here, and I don't ever really close my credit cards whatsoever. Now, the idea is that maybe you might say, hey, if I'm not using it, then why would I have it open? In reality, having a credit card basically means you actually have more money to actually borrow, meaning it can actually help your entire credit score utilization. Meaning that's the entire idea of like, hey, I'm borrowing this much money, but in reality, I have this much money available. So for example, if you max out all of your credit cards, it's actually going to hurt your entire credit card utilization, and you don't want that to actually happen. So the idea is this, okay? If you ever go out there and you actually close one of your credit cards, it's going to damage your credit score in 2 ways. It might actually increase your entire credit card utilization, because basically, you'll actually have less money to actually borrow. For example, if I have 5 credit cards here, and each of them are $1,000. In reality, I have around $5,000 available for me in credit. However, if I'm borrowing, for example, $500 in total, right? The idea is that my credit card utilization is only around 10%, which is actually pretty good. However, if I get rid of one of these credit cards, okay, boom, I'm done with it, canceled, right? So now I only have 4 credit cards, meaning, okay, that my total balance available is only around $4,000, which means that my $500 balance is actually going to be higher than that 10%, which will actually lower my entire credit score, okay? And that is how it works. But on top of that, for example, if I have 5 credit cards again, but I have my oldest credit card that I barely use. When I actually close it, that account, that history is going to be wiped out, which in reality is going to hurt my entire length of credit history. And that is actually a bad thing also. So the best thing to do is basically, if you have, for example, a lot of credit cards and you're not really using them, well, I recommend just put one small bill on it and pay it off in full every single month, and that way it stays active, and it also helps your entire credit score by building up an entire payment history. For example, if I'm not using my Discover card as much as I used to, I basically only have, for example, my phone bill on it, and I pay it in full every single month. Another credit card, I might have, for example, my Netflix bill, another one, maybe my Apple Pay bill, like whatever it is, okay? But that is the core idea. That way, it stays active and it does not hurt your credit score when you actually close it. But I do want to mention one thing here, okay? All of my credit cards, they're actually free. There is no annual fee with them. But some of you guys might actually have a credit card that does have an annual fee that might cost 100, maybe 50 bucks, maybe in some cases even 500 bucks. So the idea is, do I close it or do I keep it to prevent it from actually hurting my entire credit score? The answer is, call the entire credit card company and see if they can downgrade you to a no annual fee credit card. However, if they say no, you might have to take the L temporarily though, and basically close the credit card, because basically it is costing you money every single year and you don't want that anymore. Okay, so the idea is maybe just close your credit card if it's costing you money, and then boom, be done with it, and then just build up your credit score again within that 1 year to 2 year period. Okay, that is the core idea. If it costs you money, then close it. If it doesn't cost you money, then basically just keep it open. It doesn't hurt you, it just helps you. Okay, that is the idea. Closing it is actually not going to help you in any way, so just keep that in mind. Now, number 5 is something I hear all the time. Tommy, I'm going to hire a professional to actually fix my bad credit score. Now, usually this happens when someone first is new to credit and they have, for example, 3 credit cards and they borrow a ton of money and now they have a massive amount of debt and they don't know exactly what to do. So now they can't make the payments anymore and they're like underwater, they're drowning in credit card debt, and they might say, well, Tommy, I found a company, and basically they're going to negotiate everything on my behalf, which is actually going to lower the amount I actually owe them, and that way I can actually afford to actually pay it back. Now, I want to say one thing here, okay, guys? There is nothing a professional can do when it comes to credit that you cannot do yourself. Everything they can do, you can actually do yourself. And here's what they're actually doing, okay? In reality, they're going to trash your entire credit score. And here's why. Because basically, they're going to tell you, stop making payments and do not answer any calls. That way, they're going to put your account in default, meaning that's actually going to hurt your entire credit score. Then the company you hired is going to negotiate with them to lower the amount of money you actually owe them, reach a negotiation deal. And that is the idea. Then they're going to pay it off, take it off your credit score, and that is the entire, ooh, oh my gosh, we're professionals, okay? It's very simple to actually do, but in reality, it is going to hurt your credit score massively, temporarily though, okay? But it will save you a ton of money. But the best way to avoid this is basically just don't use your credit card to buy things you can't afford, okay? So just follow these 2 rules, okay? Only use your credit card to buy things you can actually pay for in cash. Second thing is this, pay your credit card off in full every single month. That way, you don't have to hire a professional and pay them a fee. That way, you don't have to worry about like, hey, I need to negotiate this deal because basically I owe too much money. The answer is just pay it off in full every single month and don't borrow more than you can actually borrow, okay? That is the entire idea. But guys, comment down below and let me know if these 5 things actually helped you, and did it help you change your mind about any myths or basically wrong ideas about how credit actually works. Comment down below, let me know, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, like this video if you liked it, and also if you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when I post a new video, and also follow me on Instagram, TommyBryson. And before I go, if you want to watch another video basically on how to actually help your entire bad credit score yourself without a professional, well, watch this video right here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and as always, peace.